a SaaS provider up in Portland. And I'm going to talk about something I was here last year trying to pick brains on how to accomplish. Most of the feedback I got last year trying to pick brains was, I can't wait to hear what you end up doing. So here I am. So I'm calling this NIDS in a portable data center. So there's two topics: NIDS in a portable data center, what a portable data center is, and then how do we do network intrusion detection in that. So I'm defining a portable data center as a data center that can be spun up anywhere as quickly as possible. Disaster recovery, business continuity model. For my company, this turned into our European data center, but it started off as a disaster recovery project where we could bring up a complete functioning environment in the case of a disaster for our main production data center. So the requirements for this are 100% bare metal commodity servers, 100% automation, 0% infrastructure. And by infrastructure, I mean network equipment, that stuff, right? Your core network infrastructure. So this is 100% colo, right? So we don't own the data center. We are just a tenant. Some of the challenges: no infrastructure equipment, right? That's how do you do network intrusion detection when you have no access to the network devices? Everything is containerized. This is a completely CoreOS container environment. And our load balancers are virtualized in a container on bare metal commodity hardware. So from, again, a high level, bare metal, CoreOS with ignition and some orchestration. So CoreOS gets booted with ignition scripts, init files get dropped, pull your containers down. Pretty basic deploy methodology there. Load balancer software, again, virtualized in a container. And NIDS, for me, for now, my primary focus was on egress. Although you'll see that I am capturing ingress, egress, but I am primarily focusing on the egress. So I'm calling this NIDS in a box. So Suricata running Ubuntu in a container, pretty beefy server, 32 CPUs, 256 RAM. Each Suricata host container is running on bare metal that is running the virtual load balancer. FileBeat is shipping the the Eve.json file to Elastic Stack backend. And I'm actually ripping out appliances, many different types of appliances, to move towards commodity hardware, bare metal. Not only because it saves us money on buying single purpose devices, it saves us money on commercial licenses that we just honestly don't need. The products we had that we're paying for were just not doing what we need them to do. So this is what it looks like. So we have the interwebs. Our traffic comes in. ETH1 is our public interface. Traffic goes through your Docker networking, your container networking, hits the load balancer. My NIDS container is essentially man-in-the-middling the internal network interface. This means I don't have to put the NIC in promiscuous mode. The nature of our traffic is all traffic comes in, TLS encrypted, gets decrypted at the load balancer. So I am seeing completely clear text traffic with the Suricata engine. Some issues. Suricata, other intrusion detection engines like to group ports, group things together. Suricata, if you're not aware, is basically regex matching. It loads all the rules into memory and then just regex matches. It's kind of simple, but it's kind of neat, and it's pretty high performant. When you have a lot of container orchestration, you have ports that are all over the place running who knows what. So we could have web servers running on any number of ports. Everything is dynamically assigned. It would be awesome if I could say, hey, if you're running a web server, use a range of 500 ports. That helps me out. Apparently that requires a lot of overhaul for our container deploy and orchestration. So that's a battle that I am fighting. I don't know what it's going to look like with the increased network load. So right now it's in a data center that has just been brought online. It is in the EU. Our customer base there is small but growing. So for now it's holding up. It's holding up quite well. If we get to the point where we're getting the types of data traffic that we have in our primary data center, this could require some re-architecture, but as things stand now, it's impressively working. And the nature of our traffic that we get, it's a lot of false positives and noise. It just generates because we ingest a lot of other customer data, and I had a case where it looked like shell shock was being actively exploited in our environment. It turned out that the Suricata rule matched bin sh, bin bash, and a couple of other Windows commands because I was in the payload of the traffic that was being sent in. It wasn't actually trying to be executed. That was just what the payload of the packet that we were ingesting contained. So this is, due to the nature of what we do, we are prone to a lot of false positives, but like any tool that you deploy, you do need to spend time to tune it. So some of my next steps I need to do, continue performance test as we accept more traffic, more customers. That's going to be pretty easy to do. Getting this container deployed as part of this stack, so no matter when or where another load balancer gets deployed, this has to go with it. We have a few other containers that are part of the stack, so getting that integrated. We're working on an offline rule update and validation process, so we don't update rules inline active. Takes 10 minutes to restart Suricata with the rules, and that's really not a gap in time I'm willing to take if I have no confidence that it's going to come back up. So getting those rules updated offline and then just copying that that new rule file in and hubbing the Suricata process, and then tuning. Like again, like anything, you have to tune. That's it. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. Some of the appliances I mentioned that we're ripping out are actually some Gig On appliances. They're perfectly capable of doing that. The nature of the traffic we accept, we don't really have that need. But it absolutely is possible. I've tossed around the idea because there's some carving I might want to do. Suricata gives me a lot of flexibility to create separate logs for the different type of traffic that it can detect. But I haven't really had a need to really carve out specific data and redirect it. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's chat. uh, no, but that's a really good question. I don't know that I'd be able to answer it. I don't know if we ever tracked like power usage. I do know that I'm ripping out several appliances, and we are moving towards load balance software instead of the appliances. So that's data I could probably have in the next 6 months. That is a really good question. So this is, for me, this was cost savings in a number of areas, and yeah, power consumption was one of them. I just have no data to support that.